So here we are on Jack's birthday. We're continuing our discussions of some of the many 84,000 or more afflictive mental states. And right now we're in the vein of attachment. And I realized as I was preparing for this that I actually I did the assignments. I gave myself a very difficult assignment because I took attachment to people. And I thought, oh yeah, I know a lot about that. That will be easy to talk about. But it's actually very, very tricky. I think attachment to people is so hard to see because love and attachment get so mingled up in our minds that we can't tell the difference, like what is caring and what is craving. They're just like so meshed together. And because, as Zopa said so well the last couple of days, attachment feels good. And so, who wants to apply an antidote? I'm great. I don't need to apply an antidote. Here, I like this person. I really like this person a lot. They make me happy. I'm delighted when I'm with them. Why would I apply an antidote? Oh, well, actually when you're, as we all have, you're sitting in the buckets of tears you have shed over the loss of that person, whether it's a relationship, a parent, a child, a friendship, or whatever, then you might remember, oh, you know, I could have applied an antidote. So this one is really hard. And it's difficult too because our whole social structure in some ways is built on fomenting our attachment to one another. Like if I'm not attached to my child, am I a good parent? If I'm not attached to my parents, am I a grateful child? If I'm not attached to my good friend, am I a good friend? And for sure, if I'm not attached to my lover, am I a good partner? You know, I mean, so all of our pop culture, all of great art, all of it is really promoting how attachment is the way we relate to one another. So this attachment to people is very, very difficult and very, very tricky. One of the factors, I think Zopa kind of referred to it, but one of the factors that Venerable Children has helped us be quite aware of that doesn't show up so much in the teachings on the mind and mental factors is this factor of inappropriate attention. Attention being one of the mental factors that draws the mind toward an object, right? So inappropriate attention is if we find ourselves kind of inappropriately drawn to the object. How would we know that? Well, for sure when we're meditating we can sit on a cushion and see what's invading our mind. If the thought of my best friend passes through my mind and I can take myself right back to the meditation, fine. If the thought of my best friend arises and then it's like, I wonder how she's doing. Boy, she didn't look so good last time I saw her. Wonder what's going on with her. Maybe there's some sort of stomach thing. Maybe there's something going on with this person. I mean, by the time you've had this fifth thought, my friends, we're talking about attachment. We do that with everybody, as I said. We do it with all kinds of people. And I think for me, this is not from the textbook, this is from my own personal experience, this also gets totally mixed up with attachment to praise and approval. Because what happens for me when I'm attached to certain people is, why am I attached to them? They make me feel good. What makes me feel good? My particular tick, they praise and approve of me. They like my ideas. They get along with me. They laugh at my jokes. That's a big deal. They laugh at my jokes. So, is it the person I'm attached to, or is it the good feeling of having that person's approval? They're like shoring up my sense of self again when they approve of me. So sometimes we have inappropriate attention where we're wondering, what is that person thinking about me? What is that person thinking about me? What is that person thinking about me? And we're actually thinking that they're thinking about me that I'm a jerk because I did something terrible. They're thinking that I'm a jerk because I did something terrible. They're thinking that I'm a jerk because I did something terrible. This is attachment to praise and approval. This is needing approval to feel okay about ourselves. So that's one level. But then there's the other one where we just feel like if we're with that person, we're happy. If we're with that person, they really give us a sense of something. Even if it's, you know, like a parent or a child, where the relationship, of course, is loving. But if I'm fixated on whether that child is okay, I'm fixated on whether that child is thinking of me in a way that's loving, all the things that we do, same thing with our parents, then we're talking about attachment. And so it's, as I said, very, very tricky. I think it's hard to comb out. And the pain of this kind of attachment is enormous, enormous. Because for one thing, as Zopa also described very clearly, what our inappropriate attention then is taking us into is a fantasized version of what this relationship is, or who this person is, and how it should be, bringing us happiness. That will change. That will absolutely have to change. There was a wonderful quote I just read from Geshe Tashi Sering where he said something like our need to be approved, or I need to have that love, is so great that we invent, well, this is entirely him, but we invent this thing, and then we forget that we invented it, and so we believe in the apparition of what we have created. And so we attach to that, and the other person is just like living their life, doing their thing, but they cannot fulfill what we've asked them to do. What we've asked them to do is live forever. What we've asked them to do is never change. What we've asked them to do is always love and approve of us. Well, that's three big ones right there. That's what Geshe Tashi Sering says. It's whatever reinforces our sense of permanence is what we're attracted to. So it reinforces that too when we have that kind of attachment for someone. It reinforces our sense of solid self, permanent me. And if we're attached to the approval part, then I'm okay. This makes me okay. So, what are the antidotes to that? Well, first of all, as I said, we have to think about actually applying an antidote. Recognizing it is the first part, and it's really hard until we've got the pain of separation or the pain of change. But then to start noticing, for one thing, as Zopa said, the great antidote is to start offering them. Put the people in your mandala when you're offering a mandala to the Buddha. Whenever they're coming to mind repeatedly, imagine all of their good qualities and give them to the Buddha. And as Venerable Children says so clearly, aren't they in the better hands when you give them to the Buddha than they are in your own? Yeah, who can take better care of them? Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So that's one thing of just practicing giving it away. Of course, you're only doing it in your mind, but it is a letting go. It's a letting go that happens mentally that's really very helpful. The other one is to, which is a lot harder, but also to think about the fact that this person is impermanent. This person is impermanent. We are both heading towards death moment by moment by moment by moment. This person is not who it's always been. Or not now who they have always been. They will not always be who they are now. Neither will this person. The combination of these two people is totally adventitious. Years and years ago, I heard a teaching from Jeffrey Hopkins who gave me an image that was so stunning. It's never left me. And at the time, my attachment to people was really like my reason for living was the people I loved. And he said, quite dryly, in his very sort of intellectual, dry and funny way, he said, our relationships to one another, one human being to another, is as adventitious as a pea and a bit of carrot in a pot of boiling soup. Meaning that, here's the pea, here's the carrot, pot boils, and they've separated. They came together for a moment out of that boiling soup. They go away for a moment out of the boiling soup. And that, he said, is the way we are in relationship with every single person. And I was so mad. I was so angry listening to that. And because it was so true, it just went into me like... It's not a traditional antidote. But I will tell you, it is a very, very, very useful image to think about in relationship to others. Not because we want to cut ourselves off from people. Of course, we want to keep the line open and keep our love and compassion and care growing for them. But the less attached we are, the stronger and clearer our actual love is. And the freer we are to share that love and loving kindness with all the people around us, not just the few people that we label as mine. So there are many other good antidotes, but I will leave you with that image. That pea and the carrot thing is really worth meditating on. So may you have good relationships, clear love, and release from attachment.